Just when you thought you've heard every crazy thing imaginable out of San Francisco, guess again. They have now launched Guaranteed Income Program for only transgender people or people who suffer from some sort of gender dysphoria. It's better known there as the GIFT program. Doesn't that sound nice? They will provide a limited number of economically marginalized transgenders with $1,200 a month for 18 months. So if you're doing the math, they're going to give people $21,000 if you fit into one of a host of bizarre new gender categories. Joining me now to discuss is clinical psychologist and psychoanalyst and the host of the Real Clear podcast, Dr. Lucas Klein. Dr. Klein, thank you very much for being here. We are going to share, as part of all of this long scrolling list that unbelievably shows more than 130 gender, sexuality, and pronoun options for people to choose from in order to qualify for this free money. I don't even know what most of these things mean. It just goes on and on. We're going to keep it up on the screen so our audience can see what people, these activists, are doing in terms of trying to normalize what really is a mental illness or a disorder in this country. Lucas, what do you make of all this?
Well, thanks for having me on, Tom. Good to be with you. I never thought I would be able to use the term old school trans, but we now have what we might be able to say is traditional trans, because that's so yesterday. Look at some of these categories. My favorite was gender outlaw. And that might seem humorous, and it really is humorous on one level.
Yeah, but these people need help.
I should say so, and there is some description in the program that there's going to be some sort of service for them that includes medical and mental health treatment. I'm not sure what kind of treatment that will be. I'm not assuming it will be very tactful or very useful. But the more serious effect on society at present is that when programs like this are spread, it tends to demoralize the people. We now have a sort of policy culture in this country where people look at things like this and they think to themselves, it's not even worth making sense with my neighbor. It's not even worth trying to be rational. There used to be a time where we endeavored to non-categorize people by race, gender, creed, etc. There was a particularly influential person in the South somewhere around the 1960s who thought that was a bad idea. We seem to have forgotten his teachings. And this program is a turning on its head of what we used to call actual progress, and it's demoralizing the country.
Yeah, we haven't even started, folks. If you're following that list, we haven't even started that over. That is, we're continuing to show these, and those in charge of the program say that you should check all that apply. And I think that you make a really important point that this universal basic income can demoralize you because it sort of robs you of your of whatever is left of your own self-worth. But if you and I had this conversation 10 years ago, it would be strange. But there is this push to almost normalize gender dysphoria. Why are we seeing that?
Well, that's really the million-dollar question. If you look at the numbers, Pew Research just produced a recent survey, I think as late as yesterday or the day before, and they claim that there's 1.7% of the U.S. population who are transgendered or non-binary. 1.7% is close to 6 million people. Well, the number has historically, right up until virtually yesterday, been less than 0.01% of people who identified as the opposite sex and tried to live that way. Does anyone really believe that there is actually a sort of native growth, we might call it, of around 5 million people?
Yeah, it can't possibly be. It can't possibly be. And it's almost like it's becoming a fad or a way for people to be a part of a group as a way of dealing with either their, some sort of very serious emotional or psychological issues. And we're out of time, Doctor, but we're going to have you back because this is the type of thing that's especially impacting young people and their perceptions of themselves and their world around them, and it's also very dangerous to them as well. But we appreciate your insights here, and you brought up some very important points. Dr. Lucas Klein, thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
real news
For real people.